Hey guys, we're going to do our look at our Trinket dishes from the Sophie and Toffee box. So we have got my favourite, unsurprisingly, kitty, and we have the unicorn. So, I'm thinking that I use the black and white and do a marble effect cat because I've seen the marble effects and that's well exciting. For my unicorn, I have got some Resin pigments, so I'll grab those and we'll choose our colours for our unicorn. I might sort of do a sort of pinky yellowy, sort of really girly unicorn vomit colours. Unsurprisingly, I'm going to start with the cat because, you know, it's me and I want to do the cat. I need to check actually because helpfully the book tells us how much resin is needed for each dish. So for the cat, 50 grams of resin. So I don't work in grams, I work in millilitres. So I'll have to translate that so that, oh God, this shadow is awful. I may have to actually do that. It doesn't make the blindest bit of difference, does it? I might have to put the overhead lights on to see. Hold on. Is that better? Not really. I'm going to have this in that little glob of... I'm trying to use natural light in my videos. So much for that. Right. I'm going to get my gloves on and my mask. We're going to mix up 50 grams of resin. Mix the white in thoroughly. And then what you do with the black is you pour the black in and you sort of swirl it, then you pour, and then you get that gorgeous marble effect. So that's the plan. I'm going to get suited up and then we'll start. Okie dokie, so I'm going to put my gloves on, I'm going to mix up my resin, give it a nice mix in my silicone cup. It's a 1:1 resin from Resin 8, so that is exactly the same amount of resin as hardener, nice and easy, no awkward calculations, which is good for my brain. So I'm going to give that a mix. Once that is fully mixed, you want to make sure there's no striations, that it's all clear. Obviously mixing as slow as you can and carefully to try and not add any bubbles in. What I tend to do, I tend to let it sit for a little while after I've mixed it off camera to let the bubbles rise. I'm then going to mix the white in. I put quite a lot of white in because I want it a nice solid white colour. Mix that thoroughly, then add a little bit more white because it wasn't quite as white as I'd hoped. Then we add the black in. Now, I wasn't sure how much black to add. I did quite a few drops there. I think I did 4 or 5. Way too much. It is very dark there, as you can see. But, you know, we're still going to pour it and see. Zoom in a little bit for you there, and you can see the ribbons of colour as I put it in, which is really nice. And then just giving each bit a push just to try and pop any air bubbles hidden in the ears and things. So I'm really excited because I've got all of these transparent pigments from Resin 8. So we have yellow, pearl, violet, orange, apple, dark blue, light blue, not too light blue, white, red and black. So I'm thinking we use the yellow, we use a little bit of the green mixed with some white, and we use a little bit of the red mixed with some white to try and make a pink. And so then we've got yellow, pink and green. Is that sort of maybe some pearl on its own? So that's what I'm thinking for my unicorn. So it's going to be quite exciting. So I'm going to get the resin mixed up and ready, and then we'll pour it into separate pots and we'll get on. Let's check how much resin do I need for our unicorn. Unicorn was a regular box, 60 grams, perfect. Okie dokie, I shall be back. So let's get started looking at our different colours. So I've got a few of these little pots, not sure how many I'm going to need. Might mix up a few different colours depending on how these look. So now I've never used these before, so we'll see. I did get these second hand from a lady who had bought them, and I've barely used them. I mean, they're pretty much full. This does have a sellotape seal, and I cannot find the end. There we go. I really appreciate the way that she wrapped these. So this is the pearl. I'm really not sure how these work, how much I need either, but okay, I'm just going to give it a bit of a mix. Give it a bit of a stir, get all of the pearl involved in the situation. There we go, we've got a nice consistency now. And then we'll put maybe this match. There we go, hopefully that'll be enough. For the pearl. Give this a quick wipe. And we'll move on to our next one. I am going to put the tape back around these just because at the moment storing them in this box is the best way for me. I'm going to mix up 60 mils of resin because it's 1 gram to 1 mil. And then we'll be back to do our unicorn. Okie dokie, so I've mixed up my resin and I'm going to pour it into the smaller pots of the pearl, the light yellow, the light green, and then the pinkish colour. Not quite the pink I was hoping for, but it did improve once I added the resin to it. So I'm just going to mix each colour thoroughly in with the resin, just to make sure that we've got a solid colour. Now, as I stated, I did put way too much pigment in these pots. These colours are not transparent currently, and they are very, very opaque. You do not need this much pigment at all. But, you know, you live and you learn. So I'm quite pleased with the green and the yellow colour that I achieved. The white did definitely lighten them both up, which worked. They're still not quite as pastel as I would have liked, but, you know. So at this point I was going to, I tried adding a little bit more resin, see if I could lighten some of the colours. But they still weren't quite where I was hoping for. I was sort of planning to add some more white to them, but you'll notice a jump in a minute where my camera cut out, so you missed me mixing the orange up as well. Sorry for my head getting in the way here. I'm trying to make sure that the pearl colour goes into the horn, so that the horn is a nice white pearly colour. Then I'm just kind of smushing the colours everywhere. I apologise for my head. This was a difficult one. Where it had taken so long to mix up the colours and where I had to sort my camera out, the resin was starting to cure in the smaller cups. So I was kind of rushing while doing this. I had to change my gloves over a couple of times because they got sticky. Yeah, this was all a bit manic and a bit rushed. But, you know, we got there in the end and we got a finished product. So I'm just sort of using my metal spoon and lifting the edges of the mould to try and make sure the resin gets down the sides with the minimum amount of air bubbles. I knew there was going to be some bubbles because, as I say, the resin had started to cure in the smaller pots, but, you know, it still worked as it was. So I've just poured them through, again making sure that it all gets down the sides, and then we'll be done. Okie dokie, so we are back. We are going to demould our cat trinket tray. Now, I definitely put way too much black in. That's not the effect I was going for. I was going for a much lighter. But we'll see, the proof is in the pudding, as they say. So we'll pop it out and we'll see just how pretty it is. I mean, I think it's still going to be lovely. It's just not quite the colour that I was going for. So we'll go release it all. Bend this edge over because we've got the ears to contend with. There we go. Actually, do you know what? I quite like that. It's not the look I was going for, I'm going to be completely honest. I wanted a much lighter marble. But I really like all the different colours in that. Oh, that is lush. You're not getting the best image. The camera's, oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh, yes, that is very pretty. I like that. And it's a good size mould, actually. Like, it's a good size tray. Like, I can fit my scissors in it. You know, it's a good size mould. Huh. Exciting. Hey guys, so we are back. We're going to demould our unicorn trinket tray. I our unicorn neon vomit tray. So while I was mixing the colours up, I realised two things. Firstly, those are supposed to be translucent colours and I put in way too much colour. So I was actually concerned this wasn't going to harden, but it has hardened, so that's fine. And the second thing was that the colours were not pastel. They were not what I was going for at all. However, my camera decided it was going to not film. So you may not have seen, or you haven't seen me mixing up the orange colour. And in the process of trying to sort my camera out, the resin was starting to set up and harden and cure. So I kind of just had to go with the colours that I had. So I think this is going to be a very bright unicorn trinket tray, but I'm sure it will appeal to some people. In fact, I know I have one person in mind who actually has neon in her nickname. Even on Instagram, she has neon in her nickname. She does resin too, but I think she and a couple of similar friends might really enjoy this one. It is a bit bright for me. I'm not sure I could have this in my room. Might glow at night. The colours are so bright. But we'll see. I did say previously I prefer bright colours to pastel colours, so we'll just see how it comes out. But again, these moulds release beautifully. I do love Sophie and Toffee moulds. They are very good. So we've got quite a nice mix of colour. They've gone all the way down in the sides of the trinket trail. This one's a difficult shape to get out. Okay, so we're going to go, because we've got the horn and then there we go. Oh, and it kept the horn, the pearl colour, which I was hoping for. Do you know what, actually? That's really nice. The only thing I don't like is, can you see here in the middle? I'm not sure if you can. The camera's not picking. You can, there you go. These little yellow strings where I sort of twisted very thin parts. That's the only bit of that I don't like. And the fact that we've got quite a few. I don't know if they're picking up. Yeah, there you go. The little air bubbles. A lot of that was where the resin was starting to set already. So that is all completely my fault. Do you know what? It's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. The back is definitely worse than the front. I think once we get an edging on and we do the eye and I sort out those holes with a very thin layer, I think that's actually going to be really quite pretty. There we go. I was expecting to hate it and I do quite like it. This is what I love about resin. Even when you're convinced you know how it's going to turn out, you genuinely have no idea because it's just got a mind of its own. But there we go. Let me know. What do you think? So let's try this again, shall we? We're going to mix up another batch of resin. So I've got my gloves and my respirator on. I'm going to mix up the resin and do another cat trinket tray because I really, really want to master this marble. So, got my resin, added the white pigment to it, giving that a proper mix, and then this time I'm only going to do 2 drops of black. And you can instantly see that it's a much, much better colour. So, success for this one. So, popping the bubbles in the cup, shake up my black, added 2 drops, swirled it in, and then poured. This one looks much better. Sorry. I'm really excited to get this marbled thing down. And this one is definitely a better dose. So on the first one, I did 12 drops of white and 5 drops of black. And on this one, I did 10 drops of white and 2 drops of black. So, love it. Look at it. That is so pretty. Oh, love it. That's much better than the first one.